wholly owned subsidiary company, if you like, that was set up. Based here in Silicon Valley. Sunil here is the president and CEO of it. If you saw it on the panel earlier. It's created that way primarily so it gets everything it needs from the mothership and nothing it doesn't. So we wanted to give Sunil the funding he needed, the intellectual property that he needed, the sales channel that he needed, but give him the freedom to go build the team he needs, go to market how he needs, the brand and identity that he needs. Nuage is French for cloud, as I said. The focus is very much on the software-defined networking opportunity, both in the data center and beyond. Target customers are a mixture of traditional service providers that are trying to get into cloud services, but also large enterprises that have significant data center assets and compute and storage needs as well. We announced and launched the company, networks and the products on April 2nd, an event here in California. And also at that time announced not just the products immediately available for trial and commercially available by the end of this quarter, but also for trial customers. TELUS, Canadian service provider, SFR, French service provider, Exponential E, UK service provider, and University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, so large regional healthcare provider in the US. So that gives you a sense of the kind of market opportunity we're looking at, where obviously large healthcare providers have their own private data centers, huge volumes of medical imaging, medical records to deal with, traditional service providers getting into cloud services as an extension of their managed network connectivity services. So with that, I'll let Sunil say a few things about what the solution is and how it solves, what problem it solves. And
it's always, I was talking to Radio earlier, and she was explaining to me a story about it helps them what problem you're trying to solve.
All right.
Did you ever read her book about that?
No, I haven't.
She's got a great story. You should ask her.
Okay.
Big fan of Radio, right from her first book. So great to see her.
Remember the story about her son needing a problem solved?
No, I don't.
He came running, Mom, I got problems, and so holding his hand up, and she kissed his hand, and then finally said, "What's your problem?" She said, "Well, I peed on my hand."
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that,
we're not trying to solve that problem.
Yeah. That's why it does help to know what the problem is.
Yes.
So what problem do you suppose you're trying to solve?
It's about providing automation in virtualized data centers.
Okay.
Such that as soon as compute, as in virtual compute, virtual machines, are instantiated, let's say in 100 racks simultaneously, the connectivity for those 100 virtual machines needs to be established. And today it's a highly manual, configuration-driven manager of manager integration exercise. What we've done is we've developed a solution that's event-based, policy-driven solution that detects the virtual machines in those 100 racks as they come up. They have a unique ID that's conveyed up to the policy server. The policy server then recognizes what tenant it belongs to, what network it needs to be in, and we establish the connectivity using IP control plane. And so we deliver network simultaneously with the compute.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
It's available at the end of this month, and as Lindsay said, it's already in trials for large customers.
So just to add to what Sunil said there, one of the big differentiators for us is not only do we do that inside the data center, but we also seamlessly stitch it to the tenant's VPN service to the data center. So obviously all the compute resources are inside the data center. All the users of that compute are elsewhere in the world. So being able to seamlessly and instantly connect all of those data center assets for that tenant into that tenant's VPN
I
as a
think all
service
the ways
provider
VPNs
company.
can manage to make that not work. So how do you know, first of all, what they need? And secondly, how do you know what they need to have available so you can deliver compute resources, including apparently the application that you have to be running in order to make useful computing possible?
Right. So we have what we call as the virtualized services directory.
Right.
Virtualized services directory is a service template, service creation engine, where you define your services. You create your services. So let's take a classic web tier application. So you create the service template of that web tier application. Yeah, and basically what you are saying is that I need 50 virtual machines in the web tier. I need 50 virtual machines in the business logic tier, and I want just web traffic, HTTP traffic between the two tiers. At that point, you're not worrying about IP addressing of any of the compute in both the tiers. You're not worrying about ACLs, access control lists, that needs to be implemented such that only HTTP traffic is allowed. You're not worrying about where those VMs might be instantiated in the entire data center. All you're doing is you're creating the service template, you define the rule of the game, so to speak, and then you assign permissions on who in the enterprise is able to access this service design. So you are the IT admin, you define the service, you define the rules of the game, and at that point, users can log in and they can see that, okay, there is one service template available. They can click on that, define how many virtual machines they need for each tier, push a button, and instantaneously they have the ability to now start using that web tier and the business logic tier and load their applications because they have been securely, every virtual machine has been given an IP address, every virtual machine has been connected in that secure slice, every virtual machine and the read switch has been instantiated, configured with the appropriate access control lists. So the whole network comes up for that particular enterprise user. And so what the IT admin retains full control and visibility of what they have given every user to do, but they're allowing them, based on what the rules they set up, to use them however they want.
Okay. So basically, you're providing pure compute resources along with the ability to have the logic to tell what level of resources you need. It's up to the customer to figure out what goes on with those resources, right?
Typically, they want to deploy any application, right? And this is the classic, the conflict that occurs where, line of businesses want to go deploy applications very, very rapidly, and IT gets in the way. They don't want to wait for weeks to deploy those applications, and IT to say now the compute is available. So what we do is we automate that process, such that rather than users going around them and using AWS to instantiate their applications, IT is now able to provide infrastructure that's like AWS to their subscriber, but yet retain complete control and visibility, and as a result maintain the security of the network. So just to clarify, we automate the network connectivity of the compute. Right. We don't, because there are many ways you can instantiate compute and different hypervisor technologies. You have KVM, you have Zen, you have ESXi, and so computer orchestration platforms, there's various. We make it easy to connect and automate the connectivity.
Right.
And we allow very easy integration with any of these platforms.
And it's also independent of the network plumbing. So if it's Cisco switches, HP switches,
Assuming you have network plumbing, that's all you need, right?
it's complete. Yeah, assuming the
This
plumbing's
is a
there.
software-only solution.
Yeah. Anybody's plumbing, anybody's compute orchestration, and we just create the overlay.
I can see where that would be required, because otherwise, well, I'm sorry, but your Cisco switch isn't on the list, so you're out of luck.
And also
Right.
for mixed environments where someone has one data center that's running VMware, one that's running OpenStack, it's seamless between the two. There's no additional orchestration to do for mixed environments.
Why are you doing this as URL networks? Why are you doing this?
It's a good question, and I mean, there's two reasons. From a market-facing reason, let's talk about that first. Some of the target markets that we're going after, like large enterprise, we're not particularly. Alcatel-Lucent is, well, you're a service provider, traditional telecom vendor. So that's one reason for creating kind of a new identity and brand to kind of go after new markets that Alcatel-Lucent is well known for. The other reason, and to build partnerships, that, I mean, Sunil's building an ecosystem with partners that maybe wouldn't necessarily want to partner with the traditional Alcatel-Lucent side. But also from an internal perspective, as I was saying earlier, one of the things Sunil's got to do, or had to do in the last 15 months building the team, is it's not just a networking team. You need virtualization engineers, you need data center engineers. So they might not want to work for an Alcatel-Lucent kind of traditional telco service provider type vendor. They want to work in a more dynamic, self-contained startup environment that's focused on a particular problem.
And you know, we recognized early on that we needed really for this solution, we needed not only the networking expertise that we have, but we needed to really get inside the head of the IT to understand what IT is all about, understand what Web 2.0 is all about. So, you know, how you need to scale out technologies, scale out architectures. This is why we have things like Hadoop that's built in so that you can collect data from the virtual machines at a very fine granular intervals and do show back, charge back capability, right? So what I was able to do is hire from the likes of Yahoo and VMware and Java and so on to get that kind of expertise to build this solution.
It's a device or a software?
It's software only. Yeah, it's all 100% software that will virtualize and automate any existing data center.
How much does it equal the net with this what entice equal the net cost and which percent communication? I mean, this is some kind of plus.
It's an overlay.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much does it equal the net, the communication of the net include with that software?
So I'm not quite sure I understand your question, but the overlays that we create that are to connect all the virtual machines together. Regardless whether we do it the way we are talking about, somehow somebody has to do it. So we are not taking any extra traffic out of it to employ this solution. Nothing at all. There's no burden.
Someone has to do that.
No. Because what we are doing it's a solution that it's like saying that network management system is going to impose take out some traffic out of the network. It doesn't, right? It just programs the network to connect the things together and then the traffic flows. So there is no burden on the existing network to deploy the solution. Does that make sense?
So just to come back to your question, just to finish the flip side of that, why not spin it out completely independent? The main reason for keeping it attached to Alcatel-Lucent, even though it has a separate identity, is intellectual property. Because for federation of controllers between data centers, for federation of the controller to the routing infrastructure for a VPN service, an enterprise VPN service, if Sunil was a complete spin-out, he'd have to go and build all those networking protocols himself from scratch. Keeping it attached to Alcatel-Lucent allows him to use all the intellectual property from our IP group.
Well, I certainly wouldn't accuse Sunil of being a complete spin out of units that I've known. But I have a follow-up question about this. How dependent are you on the mothership in terms of what your solutions can recommend?
So, as Lindsay said, what I'm leveraging is for this solution is the IP control plane. And the reason I want to leverage the IP control plane is because the routing portfolio that we have in ALU comes from a small company called Tametra, which we were part of. Lindsay and I got acquired into Alcatel. It's deployed for the last 10 plus years in hundreds and thousands of networks worldwide. So it's something that's been baked in the large scale service provider network for the last 10 plus years. So I want to leverage that. That's one specific thing that I'm leveraging to allow customers and really help them understand that this is not a new technology, if you will. This is a capability that we have packaged it in a way such that we provide that automation, but it's using a very, very robust, tried and tested controller. And then the other things I'm leveraging from Alcatel-Lucent is these gentlemen here, they're helping me from a marketing perspective, but also the sales channels. Sales channels are hugely important.
But where, obviously Alcatel-Lucent's sales channel strength is to service providers. So where we don't have reach, as I said earlier, Sunil can go off and do partnerships, both on the technology side and on the go-to-market side, to reach customers that Alcatel-Lucent doesn't traditionally sell to.
Yeah, I have a question. Is that your first version came out and became successful, or you had few versions before?
This is the first version.
Okay.
We started the company last January, and we didn't, pre-announce 1 year before we had a solution. We have the solution that's going to be available this month. We are in trials, as we said. So we announced the company last month, April 2nd, and we announced the trials with four large customers that are underway. And the feedback that we are getting is just really, really good feedback in terms of the automation capability and the programmability that I'm talking about that we provide.
So I would assume the technology will grow and we'll have more versions coming up. How you would help customers in that regard to upgrade them somehow? Let them know that.
Absolutely. I mean, as good as it happens with any technology, once it gets deployed, there's further things that always come up and that we will allow for seamless upgrades. But the previous question, and the reason I stressed on the IP control plane is we are taking and we are making it easy for customers to deploy this in their networks. We are taking the newness of it to the, it's not a brand new technology in that sense. It helps them understand that this is something that's so stable. In some of the largest networks, I mean, we have over 5,000 routers supporting massive amount of traffic running many, many networks.
Yeah, so to put that in context, it's version 1.0 of the NUAR's virtual services controller, but it's running version 10 of the existing Alcatel-Lucent service router operating system IP stack. So it's not unproven new networking technology.
What is about the IP stack that makes it different from all the other IP stacks out there?
I mean, as Sunil said, the main difference compared to something you buy, if you buy an IP stack off the shelf, at Tametra we bought some protocols off the shelf. We ended up rewriting them completely for service provider use. You can't take something off the shelf and just stick it into a service provider environment day one. So it's got 10 years of robust, field-proven.
In other words, it's idiot-proof.
Not only idiot-proof, but it's been through the ringer of delivering UVerse for AT&T customers. It's been through the ringer of delivering Verizon 5G
You used it in
wireless
spite of that.
LTE. It's been through the ringer of delivering cable TV service. So
Let me,
it's-
yeah, I mean, for example, a service provider is not going to put a brand new control plane and then have it, peer with a VPN router that's supporting that thousands of customers. One little thing in BGP, you know what can happen.
Yeah, it all goes away.
Yeah,
I think we have to call it a wrap here.
yeah.
We need to get that signed for that.
And would it be possible to introduce yourself into the camera? So nice and clear, your name and position.
you should do that.
All of us.
Yeah, all of us
Oh,
around,
alright.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I will do it by segment, and you
Okay.
just receive that. So start your name, your company, and position.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Newell. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Alcatel-Lucent Service Provider Business.
Hi, I'm Mark Hudson with Olga-Show Communications.
I'm Wayne Rash. I'm the Washington Bureau Chief and Senior Columnist at eWeek.
Hello, I'm Michael Foreman, Senior Journalist at Fairfax News Zealand.
I am Olga-Show, who is lucky to sit with all these smart guys here and learn a lot today here in Silicon Valley for all of you guys.
Hello, my name is Sunil Khandekar. I'm the President and CEO of Nuage Networks.
Juan Medeiros, Director of Marketing at Olga-Show.
Hello, my name is Giorgio Barom. I came from Venezuela, Computer World, Venezuela. You were looking for Giorgio?
You're from Fairfax? I'm from Fairfax.
Oh, right.